answer they would have wanted.
Yeah.
So with the Yuzong gun, I think that's a good question to start off. What's the lesser evil for Aurora?
Oh.
So you take out the Yuzong, then he'll still have what? Lapu. Eventually down the line, if glue is good, he'll pick up the glue.
I don't know, man. That's why I'd say, like, with both these XP laners, they're the best in the world right now.
You
like,
can take the Yuzong.
Take the Yuzong. It's the fact that it's not banned out yet, and Aurora being on the blue side. I'm not sure, because the Claude being taken out too, we've seen when the Claude is banned out, you have a whole lot of carry pop up. We did see the occasional Mozkov even.
Yeah.
The Freya in the gold lane when Claude is picked up was a question of, you know, is that the great counter to it? You see the Jushin taken out here. So I'm thinking Aurora on their priority, what do they want to go for depending on this last ban? With Yuzhong being open, I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like that would be something priority for Aurora specifically. So it could just be a trade here.
Remember, the Fandom War, folks, type out in the chat wherever you're watching, who will win this? Who will win game number 1? Team Liquid or Aurora? TL Aurora, type it out in your chats. What I like is Liquid has already acknowledged that Aurora loves first picking that Claude. And we've seen how Wildcard has gone for other teams, so they go ahead and take the safe route of taking it out. Now I think they're just considering whether or not they're going to take out the Kalea, the YSS, the Yuzhong, especially as we mentioned.
Yeah, what's the trade going to be?
What's up, wondering?
They ban out the Fredrin, so it will be Kalea Yuzhong that's going to be traded out. Aurora, which one do they go for? Kalea is a pretty good light pick, but I don't really think you want to give the Yuzhong over to TL. So yeah, makes a lot of sense. Edward, also an amazing Yuzhong player. This should just be the Kalea, right?
Yeah.
Yisun Shin Kalea.
Yeah.
What if they pull a crazy one? Because for some reason, a lot of red side picks have been weird. Like when the Kalea is open, they go for Cho plus the Yisun Shin. I don't really think that's going to be the case here, but they are taking a while, which it's kind of sus, man.
Actually, two of the most picked are
Oh.
So now it's Farsa.
Wow. Against the Yuzhong, they go Yisun Shin Farsa, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is interesting.
Farsa's the...
That's new.
Is Farsa still the... Is she technically the highest win rate? I wonder if we
For
have that
mid?
stat. Yeah, for mid.
Don't
for
worry.
mid.
Well, we'll get our man to get the stats on that. I know he's listening.
Yeah, we gotta get the stats right now on the mid laners because mostly been Farsa's Eve's. Eve's banned out here, so throwing the Kimmy there.
I mean, the highest win rate with the number of times played.
Yeah.
Okay, Farsa's been played like 20 plus times.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
So Lunox has like 80%, but she's 8 out of 10. So maybe I'll consider Eve as the next highest. 16 games played, 10 wins.
Okay. So pretty high up there, and then you have, now for Aurora, they go Grok, they get the Granger, there's Uranus. I know, like I said, people aren't a fan of the Uranus. I know Mirko's one of them next to me, doesn't really like to see it, but I think in this context, already in this first phase, it works out. Yeah. You also have to think about what is the plan for OHEB. Usually when this YSS picks up, we have seen teams, I feel like, have more success if they go for gold lane fighters.
Yeah.
Now you still have the CC open. You could even, we might even see that banned out here, at least dealing with one of the potential fighters to go in the gold lane.
Especially on the hands of Sanford, right? I'm less of a fan of the Uranus here. I'm just really weirded out by the fact that Kalea has been ignored completely in the first phase, dude. Well, I guess for TL right now, it should just be the Lunox ban next, right? There's already a Granger, so you don't need to care about the carry anymore. It really is just the Lunox that can really be a threat to the Uranus now.
In terms of the raw damage output, they'll take away the Khalid, so Aurora still lowering the options for JP in the roam in terms of the fast rotations, which means that Team Liquid will have their choice of either the Cho or the Kalea, because I assume Aurora's going to ban one of those out, then just go for a pick your poison route in terms of the roam pick. But you mentioned the fighter gold, and I think that might be the most logical decision for Team Liquid right now. They already have the YSS and Farsa.
It's enough damage.
Wow.
A Joy ban.
Wait, what is this going to be? That means they're trying to overload the possible Lunox pick with more frontliners. So, again, fighter gold makes sense, but what fighter do you want to put in gold? Is it just going to be the CC Gatot?
In terms of damage, I think CC covers it.
CC,
Ruby does have the great crowd control that they are lacking with their Uranus being in the EXP lane. So maybe they'll decide whether they want more damage or more crowd control.
That's what I was wondering too. Like, are we going to see potentially just a Hylos pickup here for TL? But then the question being is, what does Aurora put in the jungle? Now that you have a lot of the assassins taken out that Demon Knight likes to play, there's the Sora ban, and also the Fredrin. So it's like, what if the utility is the game plan here for Aurora? Then one of the only options basically is the Baksha, or we have seen Demon Kite as well play in a Kai.
Yeah.
There's the Cho pick. So they've got they go with the Cho. You usually see that Cho in the first first swing, right? When when it's red side, but they went and secured themselves that Farsa. So this is the response here from Aurora.
By the way, this whatever Demon Kite ends up with is going to be a new hero for M7. He's only played Fredrin or YSS this tournament. Yeah,
so it's Baksha.
Yeah, that's
By the way, is this TL saying that they can flex the Cho? Because they're really just hiding it. Either they're trying to flex the Cho or they're trying to get a good matchup for OHEB. But the thing is, Granger's already there. Yeah. So you could have already picked up a good matchup. Again, I think there's a high possibility that they can actually flex this because
Gold Lane Cho.
Yeah, for Aurora, it really looks like they're gonna build a hyper carry composition just for Yue and Doming, and that's a way to bypass the front to back. Some more dive, a little bit more CC, and then you go for an initiator now on JP.
Yeah, Gold Lane Cho makes a lot of sense now. Seeing what you see from the side of Aurora.
Shout out to Eman.
Possibility.
Okay, so it's JP Cho.
Yeah, JP Cho, CC in the gold.
They played with the idea at least, and then they went for the CC gold. But, I'm not really that big of a fan of the combo now. Because, like, CC Cho, Yisun Shin first, I guess there's a bit of pick off there, but Kimmy and Granger will just go Purify, and that's it.
Yeah, there's that, but also I think, again, since this history has happened many times between these two, you gotta remember, Carl Teasy, for the most part, has out-jungled Demon Kite.
Facts.
Even in their grand final. So that is a big component to this, and I feel like Aurora is gonna wanna have to kind of adjust from there and secure that jungle rotation, especially.
I think we're really gonna have to look at the first fight. Turtle #1. If anyone's gonna suffer any major losses, both of these lineups are susceptible to just getting run over and snowballed quickly. It's the first day of knockouts, our last day in XO Hall. Before we move on over to Tennis Indoor Stadium, welcome to Game 1 of the epic rivalry between Aurora and Team Liquid.
This one's gonna be great. It always is, and now we get to be with them for a best of 3. Hopefully we get 3 games because it's always a great time to watch these two caliber teams battle it out here in the Land of Dawn, and also taking a look at how things are going to play a part. Like I said, for Demon Kite, Baksha is great for being able to roam around, rotate around, but we also have seen a YSS just kind of get out of control if you get that lead. Nothing too crazy early on. Good poking though. Now taking a look at the emblems.
Wow.
Pretty much the typical here. We've got, Lethal Ignition for Sanji on that Farsa. I mean, right now, the poke in the mid is just kind of tough to deal with.
So, Team Liquid, hopefully, a good thing they're not missing out on a lot of minion waves, and Aurora are just focusing on lowering down the health of the members of Team Liquid instead of really freezing them out. But JP's still here, still getting the vision, meaning that Carl Teasy is still comfortable to just go from orange top side going down to purple. He'll probably get his green camp there with the Beetle, show himself at bot, or just go back straight to through the middle of the map, find a pick off, and then go. Oh, he goes straight to mid.
Okay.
All right, he goes mid. Again, both these lineups kind of playing around level 4s, being in that position where you either play for the tech charge or play for the kick for the most part, or even when Sanji gets that feathered airstrike, a lot of your damage profile is there. So it's slow and steady, and that's kind of what we expect between these two. Turtle's going to be up here in just a bit, and they'll get the buffs they need. JP going to go for mid at least to try to get a Purify if they can.
He was very low, but he holds on to the Purify now. Mountain Chakra reveals light, but that's Edward jumping in with the Petrify, and will be caught. Mountain Chakra of the coat. Feathered airstrike to take him down from the skies. Demon Kite still getting the retreat down on Turtle #1 as Domeng bullies OHEB up top.
Yeah, that was a perfect rampart by Light, actually, blocking Carl. He would have been in retreat range.
Yeah, that was a punish on even with the Dragon Form. It was just a little bit too late from Edward, not being able to catch who he wanted to with the Furious Dive or that Petrify. So good response. I mean, at least they get something. Objective secured. Domeng seems to be doing fine. Holding his own.
Whoa, risky moves there. Domeng.
That's threading the yo-yo, man, right there. Like, it's not threading the needle anymore, but interesting enough. It's not too much built up for TL, but you do see, of course, you've got the Fury Hammer now on Edward, so wants to go ahead and have that little bit of extra damage if he does get the Furious Dive or the Petrify off later on. That's respectable damage already too. Doming's got his. You've got, what is Yue going to go first? Is it going to be, we see a lot of mid laners go for what, glowing wand first, but Kimmy's traditionally, do you go with glowing wand?
Yeah,
I mean, you already got Baksha.
Yeah.
Usually it is the glowing wand. We'll see if he'll still lean towards that. Or maybe he'd want to go for, oh yeah, it usually is just a glowing wand.
Yeah, I think so. Again, both these interesting with the compositions is once if they just kind of duke it out, level up in the lane, or scale up in the lanes, they're fine. Whoa.
Interesting. Doming, instead of going for the Fury Hammer into Sky Piercer, he goes straight for the Hunter Strike, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah,
Doming
I like that.
Gets the last hit.
I really like that build, by the way. Because on the Granger now, you're not really going to be looking for those early kills, especially when your team is behind. So he adapted. As soon as Aurora lost out on the trade of Turtle #1, they got it, but they gave out a kill. It was the swap into the Hunter Strike here. I think maybe it was already pre-planned. He's waiting for maybe Turtle 2, 3 onwards where he'll really be active.
All right, well, he's got it. He's got a little bit of defense, too, to deal with this. Oheb's quite low, and this Turtle up. They're going to go in positioning. They know they have a bit of a health advantage anyway, so JP's giving the information. They'll just blitz the Turtle.
Yep. They'll even use a Black Dragon Form here. Onto the top side. Petrify going to be locking in. Ow, look at the tech charge as well. Oheb able to stay alive with the Vengeance, but that's going to be Edward jumping in again as Demon Kite comes around with the Shield Unity. A turret gone in the bottom lane for Oheb and JP.
Yeah, perfect juggle by Aurora. Clean dive onto JP and Oheb, but in the bottom, they at least balance it out in terms of the tower. So a little bit of a learning experience against SRG. Instead of just going full commit for the Turtles, they're opening up the map while also making sure Oheb has a little bit of protection. Despite him going down, at least you see the intention there.
Yeah, that's something you can always count on for TL. You know, if they are going to lose at one side of the map, they're going to take something else, and they'll continuously do that. Now, all this has pretty much even things out. You know, it's not big a lead by all means for TL, but right now the gold lane is definitely going over here to Domain Kite. Oheb's going to have to wait a little bit longer to be more useful on the CC2. And now at some point, we've seen it with the Grangers, man. You know, when it does pop up and gets picked up, when that Claude is banned through the draft, you see a whole lot of Granger, and usually the Grangers get to shine, and he's just guarded really well. He doesn't really have to worry about too much, and he can just have this pressure. I mean, look at Team Kind of Light right now, just bullying out Oheb and JP up on this top side. They want to take this tier 1 down so they can then focus elsewhere.
Yep.
This Baksha jungle for Aurora Gaming PH, one of the key picks that led to their domination of MPL Philippines Season 16 for the majority of it. So Liquid is now dealt with just clearing out minion waves, trying to open up the map, and most importantly, making sure that Carl TZ has... Oh! Dominic gets picked off!
How did that happen, Sanji? Feathered Airstrike, I guess, and that's the risk of running Purify when you're up against such artillery, such accurate artillery against the Chef.
Yeah, the kick wasn't used at all either from JP, so...
It was just a Feathered Airstrike.
Yep, just a Feathered Airstrike. That amount of burst being available. This Turtle's up now. Aurora's got 2 of the 3. We'll see if they're able to get the 3rd one. Carl TZ's going to start it up, though. Black Dragon form.
Yep, they instantly disengage now, but Edward is going to be poked down from the skies. Demon Kite pops into Poissons now, as Sanford is able to pop into Consecration and still has the Purify. Fury's not going to be used up. Tech charge! On a 2 by Light! Gets 2 onto the knockup as well. JP survives with 1 HP. Demon Kite with Retry now, as Sanford gets away, just barely.
Wow. All right, I thought that would go a little bit better for TL, but what a tech charge from Light.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying back in before we got to the draft, I was like, man, the roamers right now are just having such a massive impact throughout M7 Swiss stage, and it's still going to be the same here at day 1 of the knockouts, man. A tech charge or a kick can really change the course of the game, but the great thing about this, there's a kick, speaking of.
Yep, with the Dragon with the curtain call, now under turret. Edward going to be taken very low, taken out. Light trying to save him now, barriering him away, but he can't get the last shot of the turret in.
That was way too close, Oheb.
Yeah, that would have been bad. Oh no, is he in trouble?
I think he is, dude. So much damage, and the Poissons on him.
Cross-map plays, great mirrors by these two. They really understand each other's rotations and tendencies at this point.
It's kind of like they've played against each other a couple times.
Yeah,
you know?
maybe this is like their second
Wait, are they
time.
Filipino?
You know, just look at the score and that'll tell you. Basically, the score at the time. Most of the Swiss games we've seen, man, I tell you, it's been hectic. A whole lot of fighting even early on.
Yeah.
But this one, that's kind of what we expected. Like I said with the draft, it's a little bit slower cooking process for both teams in this, but we are just seeing trading happening across the map. It's not really just full force fighting against each other until this Lord comes up in about 30 seconds that we will see that. And if you look at this, again, the lead that Doming has right now, almost 1.5 ahead. Sanford?
The barrier again. Pops into Purify with the Consecration. That's a big resource burnt out, man. No Purify for 80 seconds.
Yeah, and not a lot of abilities used there by Aurora. No ultimates, no battle spells. Lights flickers off because he used it way earlier. So all signs are pointing towards a much more comfortable Lord take for Aurora, but Liquid still definitely within fighting range, as the lead in gold is not too high, but in terms of positioning, Aurora has the advantage.
They got a Sky Piercer now available for Doming. He just picked it up. Oheb got the Brute Force, so a little defensiveness needed for this fight. We'll see how they approach this too. Right now, there's just an advantage that Aurora has in terms of, oh no!
No Purify, he gets taken out by Dominkai. Oheb going for the damage over on Demonkai. Now pops in the current call as well as JP goes for the Jikundo, and now Shunpu's away. Gunned down by Yuen! That's starting to deal a lot of damage. Good Shunpu out, but look at the HP bars on Aurora. Demonkai and Doming have to recall.
They recall, they reset. No team able to go ahead and start with this Lord just yet. Sanford will be back up. Purify is still a little bit longer to be on cooldown there, but for the most part, TL didn't utilize much. I mean, they still have their battle spells. They're in good position, so it just shows how close this game is in terms of their power spike, the level that they're able to go ahead and, of course, make these compositions work. So now with everything available, expect TL to be a little more cautious with Light having that tech charge once it's up. He's got the flicker now too, so there's the green light, they're ready to go.
Ooh. Big
setup.
No wings by wings.
Rampart
now Liquid,
use.
this is going to be a difficult Lord take as Carl TZ is still up top.
Wait a second. Carl's so far away. JP trying to get an angle here. Sanford has to Purify back up. Let's give it away to drag it over on Edward now with the airstrike stunning him up. Edward getting away with Furious Dive defensively. Now Sanford walks up, but Demonkai is able to secure the Lord. That's Yuen taken down by Sanford! A double! Big mountain shock landing onto his Doming tries to cut away, but Light and Demonkai are caught in the crossfires of TLPH. Defensive tech charge. Demonkai caught by the Jikundo as Oheb tears him apart.
What a play. I mean, it looked like Carl TZ was going to get there in time. Yeah, they lost the objective, but they end up getting a couple kills off of it. Now, they still have to clear this out. They're going to take a tier 1 down. Great escape from Light and a Rampart to boot. So it'll keep them in a good defensive position to clear these out and still get ready to march towards with the Lord.
Yeah, that was their balancer, the post-objective team fight, and it's something that Team Liquid does often. I know a lot of teams in the Philippines do. If they can't get the Lord, then let's see if you can just get the kills after. That's why JP initiated onto Edward with the kick. They brought him down low, and of course the late entry by Carl TZ turned into a beautiful mountain shocker. Still, Aurora Gaming PH got to minimize their losses.
Yep.
And now this is just going to be a play for the next Lord as they restructure the map and the minions.
You guys get to cast this for like regular season?
Yes, sir.
Damn.
Hashtag blessed. I would say
Can
this,
I move?
Hey,
Yeah, a lot of
there's
people would love if you did.
There's a whole trading discussion going on.
Okay.
But
Maybe we'll get a deal in.
maybe there is a deal. You have to ask Womi and the team over there about it. He seems to be the head negotiator.
Gotta ask Mirko PH if we can bring in Uomi ID.
As a great man once said, I got $20.
I got $20, man. Looking at this though, it's interesting because with the way this game is going, plus take note, this is Flying Cloud, the longest map of them. JP, is he gonna be in trouble?
Good Shunpu. I
That
don't know
was
which
smooth.
one was cleaner, the Shunpu bait by Demonkai or the Jikundo cancel on Shield Unity. That was beautiful.
It looked like he ducked under the wheel dashing through. That looked pretty sick.
If you could get like a those camera angles when they have like the replays and
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, that'd be good.
highlight
Again,
for
this
sure.
nothing is. That was like a move, right? To try to make something happen before the Lord comes up. If that doesn't happen, then they just continue to farm up, get to where they need to be. You can see there's on both sides there's a difference in terms of gold built up respective to the lanes. Right now, Dominkai obviously still ahead against Oheb, but Oheb, it doesn't really matter too much, right? On the CC, on the fighter, he's mainly there to get that current call off. Of course, the Yo-Yo Blitz has some pretty good damage to it, but he's also there to soak up a lot of the damage, even if you have to pop the Vengeance and tank a couple Rhapsody shots or the Death Sonatas. Divine Glaive now over here for TL. Sanji is going to be popping off a lot of damage with a Feathered Airstrike. He's always very trigger happy with that ultimate, but definitely as this Lord comes up, they will get that tier 2 down on bot, so another objective goes down. And now they'll rotate forward. If they can get a pick off or at push across the map, then they know Aurora Gaming has to respond to it.
Echoes of Echo by Liquid as the positioning of Sanji in that little shrub in the lower end. Holding that, moving back. Liquid push top, slow flow with the minion wave in the mid. See if they can still get minion wave pushes on the opposite side of the map. While JP playing way far back, looking to see if he can isolate someone. Gets the info, Dom and Kai. Classic Liquid right now.
Look at Carl T. He's doing the same exact thing, right? He knows I don't have to technically be there right now. I can put pressure on the cross side of the map, make Aurora respond to it, gives the call for TL to go ahead and start up this Lord. I'm wondering if they're actually going to commit, because they're still staying up there. They want to potentially just take down a tier 2 turret if they can, knowing they can take their time with this. They're going to let Aurora initiate and start things up.
Sanford has popping Consecration. Good for the airstrike, turning it around right now as Demonkind and Yue are both low. Sanford got traded for the HP, but he's a Uranus. He can just regen it back.
Now, with all of the things that happened in the map, those little exchanges, Yue brought down low Liquid.
That's a turret up top, no?
Yeah, it will be.
Man, what a... Yo.
It's a macro play, man. This is what TL does.
I like this game.
All the time. Mirko, this is what we, alongside LaFell, were active for yesterday when we had all those 10,000 plus game leads.
W boring server, man.
And now this is once again just, this is the epitome of a chess match between two powerhouse teams. Look at JP swinging around the corner here. He's going to find an angle.
Black Dragon form over on Carl Teasy. Can he get the traces in time now? The Petrify will lock him down, but look at JP and Sanford doing the same thing as Edward goes for the Furious Dive. But again, Sanford is able to get Consecration in. Oheb gets the killing spree, and JP goes! The GOAT traceless is in and wins the retry! Now it's like taken low. Carl Teasy with walk up. Sanji picks up the kill. Tomei getting a double. Just the backliners of Aurora alive. Wow.
It's a 3-for-2 trade. The Lord goes over to TL, and you have to I don't know if we'll see the replay, but man, JP did work. He went for Domenkite.
Yeah.
Got the Purify out, put pressure on Domenkite, so he didn't have freeway to just go and do what he wanted.
Carl.
Oh, Carl.
Gets shot. That's Sonata 3 times. Good dodge from Yue as well, man.
Yeah, Carl was going for the move, man, but still, they do get themselves the Lord. It's a good thing Domenkite stayed up alongside Yue. They should be able to go and clear this out, actually, and not lose too much of their base turrets at all, actually, with it. But still, it is a showcase of what Aurora Gaming has to watch out for if they get to the next Lord fight right now, because these waves are going to be cleared out. They'll maintain it. And you got to keep an eye on JP. He had an immortality earlier as well. Got to Purify out. That's one of the big things he has to do, either on Yue or Domenkite. Specifically, better if they do catch Domenkite.
It's a credit to the lineup that Aurora Gaming PH drafted. Double carries, lots of backline damage, and Liquid has to do so many things in the map just so that they can break that formation. If you go back to that Lord fight, Edward was
so
actually
good.
in a perfect spot to ruin it, but because JP and Sanford were way too deep, that means Edward barely had the help that he needed to capitalize on that Petrify.
Oh, Light was late on the tech charge by just like a millisecond.
Yeah.
It was already after the Retribution was pressed and that he dished it out. And that's the pressure of the Uranus and the Cho for you. So that was Liquid had to fire. They had to fire off on all cylinders to make that work. From macro to micro. Because Aurora Gaming with their lineup, it's so much easier to pull off if you just go for front to back.
That's the thing though. Like, when you already have a Yuzong there, you would assume, all right, that's job done. I just have to peel for the backline. But the fact that Edward just couldn't do it because Carl and Sanji were diverting the Dragon's attention, it gets so difficult. 30 stacks, though.
30 stacks for Domenkite, 750 for the Granger stacks. It's a good thing he didn't die, right, on the attempt there. So Dominkite's been doing really good at his positioning, the way he's moving around, and just kind of relying on the fact that he's got to purify and, you know, the dash basically. But that's one of the hard things here is, again, the work that JP has to do to potentially get a purify down. Now, even with this is staying true to our flying cloud time, by the way. I think it was 19-ish minutes.
Yeah, the highest average game time
highest
of
average
all
game
the
time.
maps. Dude, I just gotta say, when we looked at the draft, we were like, oh, this is not gonna be a good game for the Eastern Shin and Farsa against the Dragon. The Dragon's the one struggling. Dude.
Yeah. With how well Carl Teze and Sanji have just been handling him, the threat, and what everything that Team Liquid has done to diminish the effect of Edward Chiusaw, who is now just sitting at 1-4-2.
Bro, 5,500 gold lead for the GOAT. Oh my.
That's why I said, like, that's why I highlighted the faft that, yeah, it's a YSS versus a box show, but statistically and historically, Carl Teze has been able to just kind of out-farm and out-jungle Demon Kite in terms of, you know, that, getting the lead, farming up well on the YSS especially. So they'll go ahead, they see that push up top from Oheb. Oh, Sanford taking a lot of shots.
Yeah, but UA is also taking a lot of shots there. Tech charge missing! Completely whiffing. Black Dragon from coming in as Sanford tries to jump in, pops in the consecration of the Purify now as again the Dragon in the bottom lane is struggling, has to use the Furious Dive. Sanji able to bait away, now feathered airstrike. Edward taken down by Carl Teze, Lord. Not low enough for Aurora to force it out. TL have outmaneuvered Aurora Gaming. Demon Kite trying to walk in, but the way the Dragon kicks him out now. Retreat from Carl, picks it up. JP will lose his immortality. Demon Kite there, Light gets an attack charge. Lands it on Sanford. Carl buys an immortality right now, but he is going to be left all alone. Oh, trace this away. Dominkite gets a double. Is looking for the triple. Oheb will be shut down by Doming, and that's him with a triple.
Dominkite with the moves all game on this Granger. They only lose Edward. He was a dragon chasing a bird, but it might have just worked out for them. They just have to clear out this lane, deal with the Lord, the evolved one pushing in.
What a cut in the wave as well. Feathered airstrike on the initial wave, a cut for JP, and now an evolved Lord that they have to deal with.
Yeah, that makes it so much easier for Liquid to deal with the center of the map, but this is what we were talking about. Liquid were doing it again, but Aurora, they decided, wait, they're not completely in position. Let's rush this Lord. Yeah, we whiffed out the initial engagement, but then they held on. They still had the right tools, and Light eventually got the Rampart and the knock up back in perfectly. Aurora, this time we're ready for the counter, and that's what we were talking about. How much easier to make this lineup of Aurora work. When Liquid is not in the right time and position to do all of their crafty things in the map and during the team fights, that's what happens. They get counter-initiated, and the counter-initiation of Aurora is deadly.
Yeah, looking at this too, the replay here, Dominkite, not only is he just doing great on his own positioning, but he's well guarded. If you look at a lot of times when Light decides to go ahead and tech charge, you know that UA is there with him. He can go ahead and use the traction pulse if he has to help peel, and then they can just rely on their purifies as well. 6 stacks now on that Sky Piercer. This is why, again, he picked it up later in the game, but he's been able to just kind of maintain those stacks without dying.
And again, for you guys back at home, if you know you're going to be playing for scaling, if you know that you're going to be playing for the Granger weak side, I'd recommend Rora's build here for Dominkite. Yep. I mean, take a look at the Hunter Strike first item. He knows exactly when the timer is going to hit for him to get Sky Piercer stacks, and that's generally going to be like Turtle 3, mid-game onwards after laning phase. Because just the Hunter Strike gives you so much more mobility, especially when you're forced on the Purify, which seems to be the case for most Grangers nowadays.
Yeah. And if you have someone on your side packing a Sky Piercer, no need to pack another one. It's all right.
Yep.
Bundle it all into one person.
Purify out from Sanji, though. Gets caught by it. Has to use the immortality there. Sanji, can he get away from this? Curtain call coming down. Sanji will fall. JP with a way to drag it onto the backline, but Carl Teze gets caught by the Petrify and the Furious Dive of Edward. Good traceless out of there. Sanford trying to escape. TL minimize their losses. They just lose Sanji, but Aurora have position for Evolved Lord.
They lost Sanji, they lost some battle spells, and their ultimates aren't available yet. So Aurora, they'll go ahead and have an advantage on this Lord. They'll start it up. They'll take their time with it. Light in position if he needs to. He still has a flicker. Tech charge if he wants to. So TL wants to probably delay this as much as they can, but Sanji is so far away. 20 seconds, less than half health for the Lord here.
20 seconds on Sanji. JP trying to look for the angle now. Light doing the same thing here, looking for a big tech charge. Can they do it? Demon Kai popping into Poissons. That's going to be the kick. Right now, retreat Doming! Gets the Lord as Carl Teasy gets CC locked. JP caught in the midst of it all right now. Is able to go for the Shunpu, but Yue guns him down. Slowly but surely. Glowing Wand ticking down. Sanford still able to survive as JP finally falls. Aurora Gaming Philippines secure the Evolved Lord.
Lord marching down the mid lane. 23 minutes and counting. Carl Teasy and JP won't be back for another 40 plus. Sanford!
Still able to survive. Oheb doing the same thing. The current call now pops in with a crown as well as he buys the immortality. In the back, Sanji tries to look for an angle to go for the flank right now, but it's only just Sanford in the base as the Evolved Lord crashes down on the mid base turret. That's another mini wave spawning in. TL, I don't think they can defend this. Sanji is trying to cut the waves, but there's no one in the base to save this game. Aurora Gaming Philippines secure game 1.
And they do it. They get first blood in this series, starting their revenge against TL. You can see them discussing things here too. Probably could have been cleaner, at least for them, at Roar, the way Aurora feels. But man, Domeng, what a game. Massive performance here on that Granger to secure them game 1.
Wow.
Terrific performance by these two. Team Liquid had to stretch out the limits of everything. Their macro management, their micro skills and their abilities during team fights. But at the end, it boiled down to the fact that Team Liquid has been running away from for majority of the game. The lineup of Aurora, the team fight of Aurora is way easier to pull off. It's way easier to make work. And when Liquid can no longer posture, position, and play all of the tricky plays they've been doing to minimize the difficulty, then Aurora just stampedes through the cavalry.
I don't know, man. I know we didn't see it here on the English broadcast, but I still believe in what I said when I predicted this series. There's something about Aurora, and when they get knocked down through things, they're able to make adjustments. I think this was a really good showcase of that, but also this is potentially the start of maybe TL's lower bracket run. I know there's still a game ahead of us. Don't want to get ahead of myself here.
Possibly two more.
Possibly two more. But this was a really great game from for Aurora overall. Yes, there was individual lanes, different things happening across the lanes, some leads built up like we mentioned with Carl TZ, specifically on the YSS in the jungle. But when it came down to those team fights, it was Aurora's ability to really protect UA, part of that, but more so even Domenkite. I mean, again, the guy his positioning was impeccable, but also just well guarded. And also note that Light's Grok is probably one of the better picks that Light has. He's able to make those massive tech charges like we saw. Maybe he missed the timing on one of them when that Lord was being taken, but overall, Light did a great job at just kind of starting those fights up and even peeling, like a Rampart. Like, think how little of an ability technically a Rampart is, but how big of an impact that has.
Yeah. There were so many times where he blocked off Carl TZ, meaning that he had to use the traceless to get out or maybe even enter. Times were just a little bit of interruption, messed up Sanji. So the effect of the Grok was really felt here. And this is something that Aurora likes to ensure in all of their picks, that all of their picks will have a big impact. We talked about the CC and the fact that they eventually swerved into it to playing fighter, which made a lot of sense. But we really didn't feel the CC as much in terms of the team fights, even with the curtain calls being perfect. At the end, Oheb was just being a minion wave manager alongside Carl TZ.
Yeah. There's something we brought up in the draft as well, right? When we saw the CC, we were like, we don't really like the combo. It doesn't really feel like there's a combo there. It just feels like another hero you pick just as a distraction so that Sanji and Carl get more space. But the fact of the matter is, there's just too much crowd control on the other side. So the CC, especially with Vengeance, it gets really, really tough for you to do anything in the team fights. And even in that final moment where the Lord was pushing in, he was just trying to divert attention. That's the best thing you could do on a CC with Vengeance at that point of the game, because if you just stay in front with the Evolved Lord, you're not shredding anyone.
Which makes me almost wonder, like, what would have been better to bring into that gold lane specifically. And yeah, I think that was a really difficult thing for them.
I think the Harith was open, right?
Yeah, Harith was open.
Harith was open. Yeah. It's just one of those things where you don't have enough ways to get not only the Purify down, but then catch who you need to catch from Domeng or UA. And that seemed to be the case as we went through the game. And we look at the MVP here. Gonna be Dominkind, I'm assuming. Yeah, just a great game, 8-1 and 5 on this Granger.
Yeah, it's not just because he got that stat line. It's the lineup was built for him. If he messed up, Aurora and Liquid definitely would have felt it. But he didn't mess up.
Yeah.
He stuck to the formation. He only died once, maximized the Skypiercer stacks from the item building path that he went on. This was a well-deserved MVP because it went from his individual decision-making to a bigger effect when it came to the game.
Yeah, looking at the highlights here, where are we going to start? Right into this actually First Lord. We start here, and you know this was a constant dance, I feel like, and again, chess match between the objective takes specifically, and this one is where TL got that advantage when Carl Tizzy was pushing across the map, and then they collapsed down on here. So imagine this fight breaks out for Aurora, and their learning process from this, you know, and this is where Dominkind, keep an eye on Dominkind here. He's got so much space to work with. He's clumped up with the rest of the team. Great initiation from Light with a tech charge to go ahead and catch out a couple members of TL, and then they just capitalize on it. And even this, again, OHEP can't really escape from this, you know, and that's pretty much just Dominkind's game for this Granger. Even this Lord, it could have came down to a retribution, but he gets the Lord, they get a couple more kills, and it was just, again, TL didn't really have an option at this point. They kind of just had to throw themselves to potentially try to take the Lord from there.
Yeah, and it's interesting because as the game went on, Aurora, every time they saw Sanford's Uranus, they were just like, hey, we shouldn't be shy with just bring this guy down, because if we take him out, then that puts pressure on the CC to end up fronting for the Cho, meaning that there's going to be no one to help protect the back line. So every time they saw that Uranus, it was like, blast him. Yeah, we're not going to kill him, but at least we're forcing out his consecration and bring him down low. And then they time another dive after that. I think that was one of the biggest shifts that Aurora did. Instead of bring the Sanford Uranus down low, then backing off and resetting, allowing him to heal, it's like, oh, he's low. Okay, let's continue the fight.
Yeah, I'll give props to TL though, because they went for a composition that is super high execution. This is a very difficult comp to pull off, and they actually almost did. There were so many times where it looked really good for them, right? And the game was relatively equal up until we got to that point where Sanji got picked off, and then it was just, oh, we need crazy, we have to go for a fight because Sanji's gonna be down for so long. If they get Evolved Lord and push in, Sanji won't be able to respawn in time, and that's why it just got so botched. But having said that, I think I would much rather have what we were expecting in the draft, which is Sanford on the Playmaker instead of this Uranus, right? We saw the Uranus and we were instantly like, we don't like the Uranus, especially